because you have had to have your own education on this as the Education Secretary. You used to say trans women are women, but you won't now.
So what happened, and I'm glad you asked that, Emma, because it's really good to be able to clear it up. When we first started to get some emails in 2020, literally I'd never really come across the subject. It'd not really been something I'd personally experienced. Sat down with my team, we discussed with a few people, we'd met a few groups. The last time we said that and wrote that in a letter was in December 2020. And at that time, nobody had any idea that this was a campaign group, that this was code for something. And we were just trying to be sensitive to what actually it turns out was a campaign. So December 2020 was the last time that a letter saying that went from my office, because of course we have all, first of all, understood that this is a campaign, and secondly, understood that this was actually codified for something else. And of course I have learnt a lot in the last 4 years.
Hang on, before we get to that, in December 2020, you're saying you didn't have enough information to hand to let you know that trans women aren't women?
No, I've always known that trans women aren't women.
But you wrote that trans women are women. I've got it in front of me when you wrote it.
The thing that we was thinking, I'll go into the details because I did think about it, was, somebody who has changed their gender, who has changed from a man to a woman, has gone through the full reassignment, was who I had in my head at that time, right? So we were not all aware of all the various campaigns and all the various groups. And of course, somebody that was a man that has transitioned, that is fully transitioned, is known as a woman. So there is a lot of people.
So you do still think that? You do still think a man that has transitioned, a trans woman, is a woman?
Well, I think
you just said that.
There's a huge difference between self-identification, people who want to identify but still have a male body, biologically are male, and then there is a very, very small number of people, but I think we have to be really sensitive about these people and not lose them in this debate, who do have and have had gender reassignment and reassignment surgery, and they have gone to, a great deal of probably a lot of pain and a lot of...
Are they women?
Well, this is what we should say, that I personally believe if you've gone to that level of you've got the gender recognition, you've got the reassignment, yes, then you are legally and medically allowed to say you're a woman. But there's a very small number of people,
and nobody ever
talks. No, that the trans women.
You haven't changed your position.
I have changed my position. Self-ID is what that was talking about. So the way this debate, and you're not being helpful now in trying to pick it apart in this way.
I've been 4 years on Woman's Hour. Right. Believe me, I've done my time in this trench and had these conversations.
Well,
my aim is not to be unhelpful. My aim is to get clarity from the Minister, the Secretary of State, if you let me finish, from the Secretary of State of Education, who has just banned teachers from talking about this exceptionally complicated subject that even the Secretary of State for Education has had to be re-educated about since December 2020.
So the campaign groups is what's caused a lot of this concern and confusion. The trans women are women. It was not actually talking about people who had gone to do gender reassignment. What it turned out it was talking about was self-ID as well, which is absolutely not. If you're biologically male and you have male body, you are a man. You can try and self-ID and call yourself different things, but you are a man. But that is very different from people who have gone through the gender reassignment and have actually, basically had their bodies changed as a result of this.
And those who've had their bodies changed, you would say, are women. Those trans women are women. That's what you're delineating between. And
I think that's a sensitive way to handle it. I mean, it's a really, I think that is the correct way to handle it.
Gillian,
but let me be clear on gender.